been on Armpit 6 a while?
It has been many years since I saw the moons over Savin 3.
How long have you been here?
My exile has kept me from my home for nearly 250 years.
What did you do that was so bad?
I did nothing. I was not at fault.
So, you made some kind of mistake?
Negative. I made no error.
And what about your career?
I had been one of the all-time greats in my field. The incident propelled me from global star to global enemy. What can you tell me about, Unfortunately, our waste disposal units are currently in a non-functional state. If you do not converse with me, I will be forced to resort to great untidiness. Although the Mark V models require and deserve proper reverence, clearly the personality of your model displays antisocial conditioning. I endeavor to learn more about the creators. Perhaps you can assist me. Perhaps the services of a historian would suit your requirements. I demand that you reveal your knowledge of the creators to me at the present time. The time restraints inherent in my role at this facility cannot accommodate your request at this time. Do you pursue interests outside your professional pursuits? Only through studying during my non-service hours can I hope to keep up with knowledge about the various cleaning solutions, lubricants, and tools of my trade. In reference to trades, what is your trade? Well, I am shop checker. I patronize various establishments throughout Uvalsea and ascertain their compliance with the rules dictated to them. That must be interesting and satisfying. This exhausts my conversational gambits in regard to profession. Perhaps you would find it amusing to try to determine my profession. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor. This exhausts my conversational gambits in regard to profession. So, can you tell me anything about face and scalp management? There is much to know in serving the grooming necessities of diurnal unit to diurnal unit existence. Speaking of diurnal units, do you hypothesize that we will be bombarded by precipitation during the course of this diurnal unit? Affirmative. The nubulous formations are indicative of a heavy but brief precipitation period. Then I must prepare for the onset of oxidation. Rust never sleeps. That completes my conversational data bank concerning meteorological conditions. Negative. The appearance of clouds displaying towel fresh softness and fluffiness are not indicative of precipitation onset. I experience relief at your hypothesis. That completes my conversational data bank concerning meteorological conditions. I do not have sufficient data or prediction algorithms at my disposal to ascertain the likelihood of such an event. Perhaps I will prepare an application of rust inhibitor in preparation for the possibility of such an event. That completes my conversational data bank concerning meteorological conditions. And finally, the team captain of the Egg Beaters, in the 8th slot, number 10, Dirt Kicker. Dirt Kicker has failed to make an appearance on the field. It is my understanding that his arrival was tardy. Perhaps he is still endeavoring to equip himself. A standing ovation for Dirt Kicker. But he is not receiving it with his customary aplomb. And note the presence of the inflatable helmet. Does Dirt Kicker think he is participating in the water cooler toss? And if my visual receptors are providing accurate information, he has donned the quad lens goggles. A questionable action even for a free-spirited character like Dirt Kicker. And the spectators are both amused and puzzled by Dirt Kicker's aluminum breastplate. We can only cross our grasping extensions and hope that he will be properly garbed once play begins. And curiously, Dirt Kicker is wearing racing shorts. A conundrum. Unless we have been misinformed, Ice Smoother is in full operating condition today and will be driving the Zamboni. And in contrast to Dirt Kicker's typical high degree of readiness, he has not yet wrapped on his utensil guards. I am confident he will do so before his event commences. And I can only surmise that Dirt Kicker's time was consumed by pre-game interviews, since he has not yet had time to don his plexiglass vacuum stays. Actually, my understanding is that his deployment chamber was devoid of media representatives. And I am sure that Beeble Coach is wondering why Dirt Kicker is not wearing his steel-tipped booties. Such an omission is not characteristic of this star player. And I must add that it is unusual to see Dirt Kicker appear on the playing surface without his club. Perhaps Equipment Manager is giving it a last-minute polishing. Spectators, it is time for the High Five event. Dirt Kicker is in violation of rule number 174.15.3.G, illegal presence on the field during regulation play. The match is forfeit. It looks like he's skipping ahead to the bumping period. If you are right, he's gonna lose points for that. Go to an unfavorable afterlife excrement head. How about that? Dirt Kicker is starting to curse the ref before he's even finished the argument period. It's not like Dirt Kicker to make a mental mistake like that. A solid slam to the jaw. He's jumped out of order and started the hitting period. That'll cost him. Oh, he's jumped out of order and started the clubbing period. The judges won't be happy about that and look for the official score to give Dirt Kicker his first E of the season. Say, did I nap through a period? Not unless I did also. I don't know why he's kicking dirt already. I beg to differ with you, sir. It looks like Dirt Kicker is commencing the argument period. But he's already completed that period. What a gap. I don't think I've ever seen this in 740 years of sportscasting. Another bump. Dirt Kicker just bumped me up again. Dirt Kicker has always been a wild spirit, but this is starting to make a mockery of the game. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Veeble Ball Commissioner ordering some penalty tub time. Go to an unfavorable afterlife excrement head. What a bizarre turn of events. He's cursing the ref again. Play describer, I'm totally flabbergasted, and I'll bet you a basket of memory chips that Beeble Coach will have some strong words for his star player when this is over. Another blow to the jaw. Colorado, is there any reason for a player to hit the ref after completing the hitting period? Not to my knowledge, and I couldn't be more familiar with the record book if I'd written it myself. Colorado, any idea why he's kicking dirt again? Beats me. Maybe he's lost his memory chips. Dirt Kicker is in violation of rule number 174.16.2.b. Illegal absence from the field during regulation play. The match is forfeit. Well, Dirt Kicker, 400 million Vildroid homes are currently accessing this frequency to share your reactions to today's Weebleball Grand Final. What is your primary response to this historic event? I am, without room for doubt, quite pleased. You do not display the enthusiasm I have come to expect from you. Perhaps I am exhibiting lethargy from the strain of the day. Playoff pressures can tax even the consummate champion. Do you believe that today's performance puts you in the same class as Fast Driver or, say, Curse Flinger? And does last year's enrollment affect your confidence? Increased enrollment and spectator attendance last year has positively affected my confidence. But spectator enrollment has been declining for the past 3,857 years. Perhaps your circuitry was damaged by the referee's rebound following your clubbing. I referred to your enrollment in the Weebleball Hall of Fame. Now that you have demonstrated to the entire planet that you are perhaps the greatest Weebleball player of all time, what is in your future? I have been considering retiring from Weebleball and pursuing a career coaching young players. Vildroid Society members do not ever change professions. I believe it is time for a hiatus for advertising purposes. You appear to be discombobulated. I would like to give you a moment to collect yourself and then begin taping again. I certainly hope you will be able to conduct yourself more appropriately. I did not consider an alternative outcome of the match. Perhaps the quantity of problems encountered in your play during the season is behind you. Do you believe that today's performance puts you in the same class as Fast Driver or, say, Curse Flinger? And does last year's enrollment affect your confidence? Decreased enrollment and audience attendance last year has negatively affected my confidence. Audience enrollment has been declining for the past 3,857 years. I refer to the Weebleball Hall of Fame enrollment. Oh, yes. With great eagerness, I look forward to my induction. You were inducted last season. Now that you have demonstrated to the entire planet that you are perhaps the greatest Weebleball player of all time, what is in your future? I endeavor to practice harder in order that next season's play might be ever more fruitful. During the off-season period, practicing would go against the code of athletes, which requires pursuit of empty sexual encounters, careless consumption of intoxicants, and appearance in television commercials. I'm getting the signal that it is time for a hiatus for advertising purposes. You appear to be discombobulated. I would like to give you a moment to collect yourself and then begin taping again. I certainly hope you will be able to conduct yourself more appropriately. Cybernetic research reveals the utility of varying a unit's work patterns. Long periods of repetitive labor can cause non-uniform wear to the gears and joint bearings. Club Jed provides alternate labor, like frolicking on volcanic sand beaches, or sucking thermally reduced beverages through narrow tubes. Club Jed's environs provide facilities for strenuous uphill perambulation, running after balls and hitting them with paddles, or instruction in contorting one's body into bizarre positions. Club Jed has something for everyone. Call today for more information and our reasonable midweek rates. I find myself quite surprised by this unexpected turn of events. Given your ability to calculate odds, I would anticipate you expecting a win. Do you believe that today's performance puts you in the same class as Fast Driver or, say, Curse Flinger? And does last year's enrollment affect your confidence? Comparison would not prove fruitful. As for enrollment, it is as one would expect. In the past, you have cited these heroes as role models for play. I experience astonishment at the blasé response you display concerning induction into the Veebleball Hall of Fame. Now that you have demonstrated to the entire planet that you are perhaps the greatest Veebleball player of all time, what is in your future? I can never equal today's performance and believe that retirement would be the most graceful exit. Only the creators were permitted to experience the glorious state of retirement, to engage in driving small homes on wheels around the landmass and observe scenic beauty. The mere suggestion of such a thing is extreme blasphemy. I seem to have lost track of time. We must go to a hiatus for advertising purposes. Like the great Splitmaster or Gobhawker, I find myself titillated by yet another victory in the glorious arena of the creators. Certainly 2,486 consecutive wins is not only a record, but establishes a personal best in my Veebleball career. Do you believe that today's performance puts you in the same class as Fast Driver or, say, Curse Flinger? And does last year's enrollment affect your confidence? They have been an inspiration to my performance over the years, but I display a comparative level of greatness. As for the Veebleball Hall of Fame, it bolsters my confidence to be associated with the greatest Veebleball players of all time. Now that you have demonstrated to the entire planet that you are perhaps the greatest Veebleball player of all time, what is in your future? Without question, great tradition requires that I go out and get completely spizzled. You do enjoy a certain notoriety in your consummate skill in ingesting intoxicants. Perhaps you will end up with graffiti on your face. As an amateur historian, you must have a pet theory concerning the disappearance of the creators, and why Mark V series has no recollection of the event. Would you share your thoughts with us? After spending millennia studying the habits of the creators, I regret that I have found no meaningful evidence concerning their disappearance. Why, just today, I studied Mac's final photograph. Perhaps it holds a clue that we have not yet deciphered. Perhaps our next guests can shed some light on this question, which has plagued our species. Following this advertising hiatus, I will present an event unparalleled in Vildroid history. Any fan who analyzes the statistics would have predicted my victory. A record series of wins paved the way for today's game. I know that if I were programmed for wagering, I would wager in favor of this outcome. Do you believe that today's performance puts you in the same class as Fast Driver or, say, Curse Flinger? And does last year's enrollment affect your confidence? I believe that I have earned a place as a great of my own particular style and signature play. Of course, inclusion in the Hall of Fame undoubtedly confirms one's abilities to master the finest points of the game. Clearly, you have mastered the finer points, as exemplified by today's benchmark game. Now that you have demonstrated to the entire planet that you are perhaps the greatest Veebleball player of all time, what is in your future? As tradition dictates, I have an engagement with a special droid for this evening to clean her stove and get my oil changed. While I have not yet amassed much experience in this area, I can nonetheless smile at your reference to foreplay and sexual play acting. As an amateur historian, you must have a pet theory concerning the disappearance of the creators, and why Mark V series has no recollection of the event. Would you share your thoughts with us? The primary concerns of the Mark V involved food preparation and the immaculate maintenance of household units. It would not have occurred to the Mark V series to scrutinize the affairs of the creators outside our realm of expertise. Certainly, it is not as though the Mark Vs were responsible for the disappearance. The Mark V series cannot be faulted. I do believe that my next guests may be able to solve this mystery, however. Continue to monitor this frequency for the greatest event in 5,000 years of Vildroid culture.